And I know it's not easy, but I think in the long run, we have to think of Santa Ana is getting shorter and shorter in the green space. And there's buildings all over and no green space. Yeah, and sorry about that. Vacant buildings are all over the place. So that means another opportunity for them to create something from the bottom up and a long-lasting building, perhaps. Thank you.
Thank you. And then the last item under grants is there was a, the county is applying for Proposition 68 to complete the Friendship Park Trail project. And so they will be applying and they will build the rest of the park, the trail, and then we will maintain it. Is that correct? Okay.
Ron Ono, Admin Services Manager. The county actually got a grant to extend the bike trail along the FO2 flood channel from Monte Vista all the way north to First Street. But that's just an asphalt trail. They're applying for another grant, and that's the resolution that the City Council just approved and confirmed that we support the second grant application, and that's to re-landscape the bike trail and to renovate Friendship Park, because the bike trail will actually go through Friendship Park, and they would have to renovate it in order to get the trail through. So they'll be putting in new playground equipment, new rubber surfacing for the park, and drinking fountains and whatever else is needed. It's a small park, so you can't get too much in it, but that's part of their project.
Commissioner Lamont, I have a question. I heard that you said that it's the county who's developing it, but the city's the one who's maintaining it. Like, do we know like what that estimated maintenance cost looks like, or is that something still in the works because it hasn't been built yet?
I mean, that's it.
I wouldn't know that.
Yeah. We haven't estimated the total maintenance cost of that trail, but way back when previous director indicated to the county that we want to develop more bike trails throughout the city of Santa Ana. So we actually entered into an agreement some times ago that we will maintain any bike trail that's constructed in the flood control channels, either by the city or the county. We've already done that at Flower Street Bike Trail. We've done that in a little portion of the FO2 bike trail along the flood control channels. So the county, in this particular case, the county stepped forward to go after grant monies to continue the bike trail. And we said, great, if you do that, we will maintain it. And that's part of the agreement that the City Council will approve.
Commissioner Pedrosa, I've seen some of those improved trails. They're fantastic. And it looks like the lighting is LED, so it should last a long time. I don't think the maintenance is going to be ridiculous, but I think from what I've seen, it's a huge boon to the community, and people really seem to be using these trails.
Okay, and lastly on my report is park security lighting. So on September 16th, we started a pilot program, and we turned on all of the security lighting in the parks from dusk till dawn. And so we are hoping that, brings, better activities to the evenings, or, maybe people will use the parks. We like activity in the parks, yeah, that's right, positive activity. And also, so we'll keep you posted on that. We haven't heard any complaints. I think the community appreciates it. The reason I say that is because I haven't heard any complaints. They would let me know, I can guarantee you. But in addition to this, there's a lot of positive things going on in our department. And we received an extra $100,000 for seniors. So we want to buy furniture for the senior centers. Unfortunately, today, over the past couple days, the Southwest Senior Center flooded. And so now we have displaced everyone who utilizes that facility. And if people use it on a daily basis, they have lunch there, they come and participate, it's very busy. So we're trying to get a portable at least for the interim, because it's not going to be fixed until January. And so anyway, but when they come back, they're going to have brand new painted walls, all new flooring. We're going to have new furniture. We're going to have new PA systems. So we did receive some extra money for that. I also proposed to the city manager some spending of the cannabis funding, and I haven't heard back on that, but I'll let you know. So there's a lot of good stuff. We have a lot of staff that we're able to hire in the parks right now, increase our contracts to maintain our parks better. So we're going out with we have 21 RFPs that we're doing. And aquatics, we propose to have year-round swimming at Memorial Pool with some of that cannabis funding, and so just bringing more activity and programs to the community. So I feel great. It's my year. I've been here a year, and I'm enjoying it, and it's just an outstanding community and outstanding staff, and of course, all of you, thank you for all you do. You volunteer, and we appreciate you. So that's all I have.
Parks and Facilities, Mr. Ono?
Ron Ono, Admin Services Manager. You have before you the report for Parks and Facilities Operations. Lily King Park, just like Centennial Park, where we had 100 trees planted through a volunteer program through Peoples and Trees. Peoples and Trees, we were notified that the CAL FIRE has additional funding, so they gave us additional funding to plant another 70 trees. So we picked two park sites for the 70 trees. It's Lily King Park and Bomo Coral Park. So we'll start our first planting of about 14 trees at Lily King Park on October the 26th, this weekend. And then we're programming another planting on November the 9th for another 15 trees. We haven't identified the schedule yet for planting at Bomo Coral, but then once we do, then we'll let you know what that is. Another planting program that agreement that we entered into is with Stanbridge University. They also applied for a similar grant through CAL FIRE, and they wanted to plant 115-gallon trees at Santiago Park.
Wow.
They will try planting the first 15 trees on Sunday, November 17th. Their volunteers are going to be students from the university, and one of the requirements that we put on them on this particular planting is that all the trees planted in Santiago Park be native trees, native California trees. So the first 15 trees are going to be Quercus agrifolia, coast live oaks. This is going to be planted in the park. And our planting is going to begin somewhere between Valencia and the 22 freeway. We're not planting west because of the projects that Lisa just mentioned that we got grant funding for, so we don't want the trees to be impacting the future construction areas. We're still continuing with our tree survey with West Coast Arborists. I was hoping to get on where we are on that survey, but I didn't get the numbers, but I'm sure that we're more than 10, 20 parks that we've already surveyed. Thornton Park parking lot has been completed. The sports organizations are really pleased with the construction. In addition to that, similar situation, we have 100 trees we're going to plant in Thornton Park through this CAL FIRE grant, but we haven't identified a schedule on when that's going to happen, so we'll let you know when that happens. Centennial Park security lighting and walkway renovation. City Council just recently approved the contract. So once we complete our pre-construction meetings with the contractor, we'll identify a schedule on when that work's going to happen. The Centennial Skate Park, you've probably already heard, it got renamed to Pat McGuigan Skate Park. We have prepared a concept plan. It's been approved by the city manager and city council. The concept plan is on the last page of my report. If you can see what the actual sign's going to look like. And park security lighting on September the 16th, like Lisa has indicated, we have asked that all the security lighting be turned on from dusk to dawn all night long to help improve surveillance. And this is going to be a 6-month trial basis. We've already talked about the FO2 bike trail channel that the county's going to improve. The Centennial land conversion, we've already talked about that. By the way, on the Centennial land conversion, to address your issue or question, the college actually entered into an agreement with the city to pay for all the work required for the land conversion. They paid for the land appraisal cost, the environmental cost, the soils testing, and that, to do that. And through that process, we were able to. What happened? Yeah.
Are you having a seizure?
Oh.
Just a long day. Really long day.
I'm here, brother. Yeah, I met him.
We all know those ones.
Yeah.
We understand.
When we get into the family mode.
Yeah.
A lot of long day.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was going to indicate that through that process, we were able to acquire 3 park sites, which is the Pacific Electric Park Site, the Sixth and Lacey, or the Mariposa Park Site, and the Raid and Myrtle Park Site, which we've already completed one. We're near to completion of the Mariposa Park, and we're applying for grant funding for the third one, Raid and Myrtle. Capital improvements, as I indicated, Sixth and Lacey, the project is about 85, maybe 95% complete. We hope to complete it but before the end of the year. Center Street Urban Greening Project, that's the project where we're removing Center Street at Jerome Park. That work has already started. They're already excavated. They've installed the bioswale through the project, and they hope to complete it also before the end of the year. And vandalism, we continue to get vandalism throughout our park sites. We've got hit at Santiago Park numerous times, the Nature Center. We've also got hit on the Pacific Electric Bike Trail projects and Fisher Park. The new fencing that was installed at Fisher Park, they've actually torn off a couple of bars and we had to replace it. And the new security camera, I think you saw it on your tour when it got installed. They already got vandalized and spray painted, and so we continually addressing vandalism through our park site. And deferred maintenance, we continue to do our best on trying to address as much deferred maintenance as we can. So that's the end of my report. If there's any questions.
Thank you.
Never ending.
Recreation and Community Services report?
Oh, real quick, before I forgot, I got a little note. On the project that we got the grant for, I'll pass this around. This is the concept plan and for the design. And then this is the project at the gas house that we're going to start construction on for the $1 million. Wow. Yeah. Oh, it's up there.
Is the gas house that little kind of stone structure that's nearby the amphitheater?
Yes, it's a little stone structure between Valencia and the log cabin. It's on the south side of the park site.
Yeah.
We're going to preserve the historical look of that. It's not historical, but
When you
it's,
say it was a gas house, what did they mean by that?
we used to store gasoline in there to maintain the park site.
No way.
Yeah, that's why they call it a gas
I
site.
thought
We don't do it now.
There or something.
Yeah.
Other kind of gas.
It's a small little building.
Yeah, it's tiny.
Yeah. And we hope to refurbish that with equipment that will help in our reservation of the area, and you'll be able to have sinks and refrigerator that for your parties.
Go ahead.
That's it. Thank you.
Jeannie?
Hello, everybody. This is Jeannie Hurtado, Community Services Manager for Recreation. I'm going to go briefly through my presentation here, but provide some highlights. And we also have a guest speaker here tonight as well if they want to speak. Roosevelt Walker Community Center hosted, actually we had a free self-defense class there, and about 100 people participated. Southwest Senior Center, you all heard the news, it's not on here, but you know the latest, but we'll work on that. And Southwest Senior Center, when it was open, it hosted a heritage celebration, Hispanic Heritage Celebration in the month of September on the 5th, and 200 seniors participated. And we had entertainment sponsored by Amistad Medical Clinic. You know, the seniors love to celebrate. And so they had a good time. We also had well, actually, we're about to have a fall harvest celebration on October the 31st. Actually, that might be changed over to the Santa Ana Senior Center, Lisa, because due to the new issues, so we'll accommodate them there. Just to let you know, our new brochure came out. They're at the rec centers. It's also online. But I really want to stress that this time we featured a senior, and all the seniors were so thrilled for her. It's just amazing, you know, especially her family. But I do have copies here if you want to pick some up. You know, I always say this, and you always hear me every time, let's not forget our seniors. Yes, we do a lot for our youth, but we also do a lot for our seniors, and we can't forget them, you know. So that was special for them. The Nature Center, they hosted on September the 21st, the annual, which this year was the 23rd annual Intercoastal Watershed Cleanup. There was about 124 volunteers plus from Santa Ana High School, Santiago High School, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, and they did a cleanup and they collected over 800 pounds of trash. That was a lot at the creek. And you all know the problems there, right? So 800 pounds of trash, you know, they could find a lot more in 3 months, actually.
Oh, yeah.
So we welcome the volunteer help there. After school adventures, we started once again after the summer programming, and currently we have 105 elementary school age children participating in our programs in the different rec centers. Youth sports, they just officiated the awards for the intramural sports for the SAUSD. That's what we provide, and that was held on Saturday, October the 12th. Community gardens, we will be having a wellness education program. Well, the wellness education programs, that's ours, will be helping the Neighborhood Association at El Salvador Park with the harvest celebration and pumpkin carving contest. So they're collaborating together. It's open to everybody on October the 25th, if anybody wants to go down there and partake. Our last carnival of the year will be at Madison Park on November the 8th through the 11th. Movies in the park, as you know, we do those, and we provide at least 2 movies for each neighborhood association or each area. And on September the 27th, they showed Dumbo for over 100 residents in attendance. They had a good time. Great weather. Park ambassador programs, it's running smoothly. They continue to inspect the parks all over the city. Once we get a report, that report goes to the particular community services supervisor for the area. If there's any issues regarding maintenance, they input an internal service request for Ron's shop, and they take care of that.
Can I just say something, Lisa Riboff, on the park ambassadors? So we have park ambassadors now. We're going to hire some folks from 5 in the morning. We're going to split the shift. So we have from 5 in the morning till 10 or 11 at night. So we have eyes on the parks in our facility. So we have park ambassadors, we have the park security, and then we have the PD. And so we're trying to beef up our patrol of the park.
Commissioner Gomez, quick question. Are the park ambassadors city employees?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, they are, okay. And that's their sole purpose is just to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, therefore, when there's permitted things, items, events at our facilities, we also just purchased a lot of the recycle bags with our city seal and Parks Make Life Better, and we have a bunch of information about our parks. So they'll be like the friendly folks who go up and give these out to people, the community, provide them like our rules and regulations and our brochures and things like that. So we're trying to step that up.
So they drive around in a little white truck, and then you'll see the security, which you already saw with the little lights. That's the difference.
All right, yeah, I see them all the time at Road Park.
Great. Fiestas Patrias, you all aware, it took place in September, and it was great. We had thousands of people here over the weekend, and you all know that we did have it this time not in the downtown Calle Cuatro due to construction. We had it over here next to the stadium. It was amazing, great talent for the community, and the parade was awesome as usual. Lots of people all over the streets, just positive comments over the weekend. I think Commissioner Macias was there. I wasn't there because I was out of medical, but I believe it was great. I don't know if anybody else attended.
Yeah, actually, Commissioner Lamont, I'd like to make I think Irma, Commissioner Gomez, I'm sorry calling you Irma. It's been a long day. Commissioner Gomez and Irma and myself got a chance to be judges for the parade, which is a lot of fun. I know traditionally it's been held on Calle Cuatro, but I actually like the location of where it was this year, because, Calle Cuatro does have a lot of shop stuff, and it's a more historical thing, but it also felt it was more spacious this year.
Okay.
Right, so it kind of allowed people to wander also directly from the parade route to where it was being held, without necessarily creating too much of a bottleneck downtown, which tends to kind of be one of the biggest issues, right? I live up the street on 17th, and years past, it's just been a nightmare to get downtown, and this year was just so much easier.
Great, good to hear. Thank you for judging, we appreciate it. 5K, you already heard about it. It happened this past weekend, and Lisa ran it, and Mr. Pedrosa did as well, so thank you. Great job, great job. And then, as you know, in my reports, I always, before I go there, actually, let me finish that part, and then I'll go to the next one, so we can have our guest speaker. Our bookings for this past month, every time they go up, we had a total of 4,574. You're aware what that is. And the next one's very special here, a memorandum of understanding with the Downtown Business Improvement District. We recently met, that's why Madeline Spencer's here in the audience, and we will be entering into an agreement with them, or actually a memorandum of understanding, so that they could program the downtown parks, which means Sasser Park, Birch Park, and also Plaza Calle Cuatro. We're very happy to hear that they're going to partner with us. They're going to have a memorandum for a year long, and we'll see how that goes. And you'll see a lot of activity out there on the weekends. But I'll let Madeline speak to that a little bit more. And we received a 12-page proposal that was awesome. And currently I'm working on a draft of the memorandum, and then we'll come back and let you know how that goes. But Madeline?
Good evening. Are you guys a commission, or is this Parks a commission and Parks? I'm excited to be here to talk to you tonight, and I'm excited that I was able to meet with Lisa and Jeannie and talk about something that I feel like I've been sharing a little bit for years. But I just was in New York, and I went to Bryant Park. Bryant Park is a park that is beautiful, and I don't know if you guys know, like we've also met a lot of business improvement districts that work with the Times Square Alliance, for instance, and these parks are not only beautiful places for people to go, but they're extremely active all the time, and people are coming from all over the world to see these areas, or to go ice skating in certain places, or to go, like Bryant Park had restaurants in it, it has like outdoor activities, it has places to play, and there's things happening all the time. And because we're in a downtown, for us to have areas that are not being activated or there's nothing happening in them, it is very hard for us to keep that energy alive that we want and that vibrancy in the downtown corridor. So, and we have an agreement right now with PD in all of our plazas, like 2nd Street Promenade, you guys see the Art Walk or Spurgeon Paseo, and also in some of the other, like the Federal Walk we've used too for children's business fairs and things like that. But the places that make it a little harder, like we'd like to do this where SAUSD ensembles come out every Sunday, so people from the community can surround and support their youth that are playing and hear them in a different kind of context out on the plazas. And to do that, usually it takes about 60 days for us to approve like somebody who's going to play. And if we want to do that every weekend, like 365 days a year, like we're trying to program these things, it becomes very cumbersome to try to, go through the regular process. So we were asking sort of for a release for the Business Improvement District to do what we do with the other plazas, which is give a little bit more leeway that we can actually, in advance, give you guys our insurance policies, give you our the same things that we do in order to activate those other plazas throughout downtown. And it would allow us, for instance, Birch Park, I think it's a really beautiful park, and we get to see the Shakespeare in the park once a year. We get to see Dia del Nino, but those are the most active times, and we've heard people wanting to do, in conjunction with like businesses, like an old silent movie night, like every week, and have families and people gathering there. And that's the way we would like our parks to be all the time, because it is what we need in order to keep the energy. And also, there's these moments, like it just happened recently, where folks come in and they want to do an event, and we actually had to go and use a private lot, pay for the private lot, get insurance for the day for the private lot there, so that we could activate it. In the meantime, the Calle Cuatro Plaza is empty. So for me, it's like it would be a lot easier if we had these kind of relationships set up, so that we could say to Parks and Rec, we'd like to bring this group in, vendors or whatever, to use this park. And we also know that activation, when there's dancing, when there's cumbia, when there's things going on, the negative activity, which we are talking about a lot, it is alleviated, and you don't notice. You can't see issues of homelessness when people are integrated in a larger community of people that are constantly doing things in public spaces and squares and meeting and et cetera. So for me, I feel like that is, I like that methodology better than, for instance, penalizing. And that's just me. So I would love to be able to open up, have these spaces a little bit more opened up, so that we can have them active all the time, so that when you come downtown, you'll see, every Sunday, for instance, just to start, these youth ensembles playing, etc. So I created a book, gave it to Jeannie. You guys said that there is a possibility that we might be able to do something 4 months at a time and renew it with your committee, and we're very excited. And then the one last thing is, we also, and it's a long-term kind of idea, but I feel like we should use the downtown setting as a place to pilot different things for Parks and Rec. For instance, having kiosks that are maybe selling waffles or something amazing in a park space, so that some of those revenue generation that are outside of just permitting can occur in these urban settings that actually are all about people being there and eating and shopping and enjoying their Sunday or whatever, the weekends. So I just wanted to bring that up, and I don't know that we do that anywhere else in the parks, but.
Commissioner Lemon, I had a question. So in terms of this proposal that they're proposing, does that include what she just mentioned, where there could be kiosks, or is this only like for performers permit based?
Right now, we're working things out. She did submit the 12-page proposal booklet, so we're working things out. It's very early in the stages, but we did speak about many elements, and we're looking forward for the collaboration, but those things hasn't been worked out yet.
Lisa Ridloff, I think this is a great idea, because we do need to activate our parks, and so the memorandum of understanding, we wanted to make sure that you all were included in this. The next step in the process is to say exactly what they're going to do, what we're going to do. We bring this to the city council, and we're looking for a year memorandum, and let's just try it out. Why not? Why should we not? We don't need to keep our parks and our facilities fenced in like Birch Park is right now. We need to activate them, as Madeline said. So I'm very pleased that we got together and connected.
There's one other little thing, which is a maintenance thing, which I also didn't bring up, is we know that you guys have folks that come out to do maintenance, and we have a clean and safe team that's located in downtown. And sometimes, like, we'll get up and we'll see Plaza Calle Cuatro is a mess, and it needs hosing, it needs everything, it needs, and right now, and I mean, I don't know since Lisa's been here, but Gerardo used to say, no, you're not allowed to do any of the power washing of Calle Cuatro Plaza, but for us, it seems very odd, because it's a part of, the park is a part of the downtown district, so it's really hard to have that sense of disconnection from a space that's really important to the downtown space. So maybe in that contract, there can be something where there's a shared maintenance, like you guys were talking about with the trails. I mean, where we can also be a part of helping to clean that space. It only makes it nicer for everyone.
Commissioner Pedrosa. Oh, I yield.
Commissioner Macias, I've been fortunate enough to attend a lot of the events with Madeline, just to see what's going on at any hour of the day and night. And I would appreciate what they are bringing on board. I mean, it's a lot of hard work that these two folks are doing, and I would look for the full support, because every time that I go down there, I ask people, where are you coming from? Are you from Santa Ana? I can tell my residents from Santa Ana. And believe me, events they have Long Beach, LA, Riverside, people that live here, they have their family here, they bring their parents, they bring everyone. So for me, I think this is what we're looking for, to rejuvenate our city, and I think bring the revenue. Because we, as in Santa Ana, we don't spend money there. It's the other people that come in and spend their money here. So looking forward to all these projects. Thank you.
Commissioner Peters, I agree with everything you said. I've known Mel a long time, and she does great work, and her organization does good work, so I look forward to working with him.
Thank you, Melanie.
Okay, Ethan with the Santa Ana Zoo.
Ethan Fisher, Zoo Manager. I'll start with a couple different updates related to the animals. We had 2 male capuchin monkeys. They went to a facility in San Diego. We also have some new goats that came into the zoo. They're Nubian goats, and they'll be going to the farm after they finish quarantine period that we put all animals through when they come to the zoo. And there'll be animals that the public can interact with and feed and brush. Some scarlet ibis, they're a very pretty bird, bright orange like a flamingo or pink like a flamingo, and they live in the walk-through bird aviary, and we have 6 of those now. Also, some other birds moved into the walk-through bird aviary, some caiques, they're a small parrot. The zookeepers have a new enrichment program. That's something they do for the animals to encourage natural behaviors, things that they want to see the animals do, interact with, and it also is great for the public in seeing the animals interact in natural ways. So one thing that they've done, they used to provide cardboard boxes and they would put food and things in them. It sort of looked like trash to the public, and they've evolved their program to use other materials and more complicated devices. And they've also eliminated metal feeding bowls. They used to just put a bowl of food down. They don't do that anymore. The food gets spread out and the animals have to forage for it. So all things that are teachable moments for the public and good for the animals. The cargo containers, the walk-in freezer are up and running. We have that as a storage space, and then we have a big walk-in freezer where we store animal food. Isaac the lemur, the very famous zoo lemur, he turned 33 years old on July 10th, so happy birthday, Isaac. There's a couple updates that are old because I had started working on the operations report before, so I just put them all together. Horticulture, we have been planting trees. So far, we've planted 60 trees at the zoo with the relief grant. We also have a tree planting day on November 9th, so you can go and plant trees with Ron, and then you can come plant trees with me. The more the merrier. And I will say that the volunteer component, if you could help out with parks, is very important because it's a matching grant. So every hour of volunteer service is worth $29.09 to the grant. And I know with our grant, and I'm sure with the People and Trees grant, there's a certain dollar amount that's been allocated as a match. So we need the volunteer component so that we can match to the money they're giving us from the state. And it's educational and fun. So that's happening.
Sorry, Commissioner Lamont, is there any way you can send us that information on how we can volunteer on November 9th?
Okay.
Really appreciate
Definitely.
that.
Commissioner Gomez, Ethan, I have youth volunteers that could come that are in high school. Do we reserve the spot or just show up that day? Like letting you know that we're gonna have like.
We have an email address that you can send to RSVP.
Okay.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll be planting another 30 trees or so. But both events are good, so come to both. I don't want to steal all Ron's volunteers because we have some people coming in, and we're posting on social media. We're posting on social media too to try and get people. Ocelot Sustainability Partnership. So ocelots, they're a small cat that's one of the animals at the zoo. We were approved as a sustainability partner so that we can work with other zoos and aquariums in the United States that have those cats and send cats to them, receive cats from other facilities. We're going to be making some transfers in the spring. The AZA conference happened in September. I was fortunate enough to be able to attend it. It was a great conference. Over 3,000 people attended it, so it's a big conference, lots of vendors and colleagues to connect with, and lots of great ideas to bring back to the community and the zoo. Captive bred wildlife permit, there's a lot of permits and licenses involved with the operation of the facility, and captive bred wildlife is a federal permit that we have, and that affects certain endangered species that live at the zoo. So we're in the process of sending some lemurs to Australia as a recommended transfer for the conservation program they're in, and we need this permit in order to do that. So it's a big, long permit with lots of documents, and we got that approved. Public programs related to education now. We continue to do our weekend animal presentation. So every weekend, that's something that happens twice a day and for the public visiting the zoo. And of course, on the third Sunday of every month is the Santa Ana Residence Day. It just happened this past Sunday, and we do those programs on that day as well. Zoo Camp happened over the summer. It was 4 weeks long. There were 2 different camps geared at different age groups, and that's something that is a partnership with the Discovery Cube. They have staff that work with our staff at the zoo, and we present this program. It's a week-long day camp. Outreach. So education specialist at the zoo, Lauren, she attended a Project Wild Coordinators Conference. That's a program that we're involved with, and we do sort of these in-service workshops for local educators so they can learn about informal science education and curriculum that they can use with their students, and that there are also activities that we use in the special events and the programs at the zoo. And it could be arts and crafts activities using natural materials, and then things that teach more complicated science concepts. Guanaco Story Time happened. That was in August, and that was a great story time craft event with the Santa Ana Public Library. There was lots of singing, and I heard it was well attended, and hopefully we can do some more programs like that with feature animals at the zoo. Festival of Children happened in September. That's a yearly festival that happens at the South Coast Plaza. It's actually a nonprofit that is founded by one of the Segerstrom children, and we participate in that every year, and then they usually also give a donation to the zoo. So that's a great thing. October 13th was National Chemistry Day, celebrated at the zoo. That's something that's been going on probably longer than I've been at the zoo. So I think probably 15 or 20 years that goes back. And it's in honor of the National Chemistry Week, the American Chemical Society, which has different education facilities as members. They put together this event. It's at the zoo. Lots of different universities and colleges will come out. They have tables. They do science activities with the kids, and they also reach out to the local community around the zoo and in Santa Ana and Tustin, trying to get the elementary school kids to come to this event. Typically, it happens on the third Sunday in October, so that it falls on the same time as the Residence Day. But that will definitely be happening again next year, and everyone has a great time and learns a lot. September attendance, you'll see we were at 14,700 visitors, a little bit lower than last year, but fairly consistent with our ongoing average. We'll be trying some new marketing things and see if we can get that number up a little bit as we go through the rest of the year. Facility repairs, lots of different maintenance things going on. One thing that I was particularly excited about, we got a new roof on the zoo office, so thank you, Ron's staff helped with that. And we got our sink upgraded, and so lots of little things, but they're a big deal for everybody that uses them. Tree trimming, a great deal of tree trimming happened, and is continuing to happen to make the zoo safe for the public and for the staff that work around all the trees. Entry turnstiles, that's a project that's going forward. I think the contract is just about done, and hopefully we'll be starting construction in the near future to install access control at the front entrance of the zoo. Currently, if you've been to the zoo, you know you can just walk in. It's an open gate. So this will give a more professional appearance to the public coming to the zoo, and also make it safer so that we can control who's coming and going and get better numbers. Volunteer orientation. On October 5th, there was volunteer orientation. Again, if you know anybody that is interested in volunteering at the zoo, we do orientation 6 times a year. The first Saturday of even numbered months is our orientation. Corporate volunteering. If you know of any companies that are interested in volunteering at the zoo as corporate social responsibility service, we're happy to facilitate that. Gesundheit. We had Cambro, which is a restaurant supply company. They build shelving and things for restaurants and kitchens. They came out, they donated some product and set them up. And then also Johnson & Johnson came out and helped with a tree planting day. We also have US Bank that comes out. So any companies like that you hear of, let me know. Grants. So a number of grants have been applied for with the Friends of Santa Ana Zoo. And hopefully some of those are coming in. Boo at the Zoo is the big event we have right now. We have the last 2 nights of Boo at the Zoo happening this weekend on Saturday and Sunday from 5:30 to 8. And we had Boo at the Zoo last Saturday and Sunday as well. Lots of activities, trick-or-treating for the kids, nocturnal animal presentations, and there's a little haunted house for the teens. So that's kind of cool. And I was excited. We got banners, digital banners for Boo at the Zoo up on the marquees at the stadium, not at the stadium, main place, and at the auto mall. So I saw one today, and that was cool. So, yep. So that's pretty much a summary of the different happenings we've had at the zoo recently.
Thank you, Ethan. This is Gomez, Commissioner Gomez. Question, I know I've asked you before, and I'm sorry, I wrote it down somewhere, I promise. Volunteers, what's the age that they could start volunteering at the zoo?
We start at 14, and
start at
that's
14.
with their parent. So it's a teen buddies program.
So the parent and the teen volunteers?
Child, yeah. And then we have volunteers that are 16 and then 18 and older.
Okay.
So there's different there's different opportunities depending on the age of the volunteer.
Thank you.
And things like the tree planting day, that's something that's open to the whole family, so they could be younger.
Perfect. Does anybody have any further comments? Further comments? Okay. Meeting adjourned? Oh, sorry.
Do we need a motion to adjourn?
Can we motion?
I'll move to adjourn. Commissioner Pedrosa. We need a second?
Second.
Yes.
I think we have people, I don't know what they're called. Hey, we already adjourned the meeting? Yeah.
Wait, but
We
there was
motioned
a
to
motion, but we
adjourn.
never voted,
Going on.
so we're still open.
Right.
Yes, on November 5. Do we have another public presentation? Because we didn't vote on the motion to close yet.
Yeah, I'm, okay, I don't know, we're waiting on direction.
So the board doesn't have any comments, we can move to adjourn, and we will adjourn with the item that we have in front of you now. So at this point, can you ask if the board has
So we don't pay attention to the group that's just here? No?
Because we're following the agenda. So we can
Okay.
go over to the-
So we will adjourn, and we're closing the meeting in honor of Victoria Barrios, granddaughter of Commissioner Felipe Guerrero. Do we motion to adjourn?
Second. Commissioner Macias.
We have to, yeah.
Oh,
No, yeah, right.
well, I move to approve.
I just had a question. So, are they here for public comments?
That's what was my,
Just so we know, so we don't necessarily adjourn if there's something that they.
I'm not crashing your meeting, I promise. They're just high school students from a civics class. They wanted to attend a public meeting.
Oh, you came when we adjourned. I'm so sad. Richard, you should have told me you have my cell phone.
It's in my meeting, and the door was locked, so.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm sure that my fellow commissioners can talk with you after the meeting.
I just actually had one question, sorry.
Go ahead.
I just came up to me. I remember a couple of months ago, we had talked about possibly moving the meetings to a more visible location, like ideally the city hall chambers. Is there any progress on that? I remember somebody had mentioned about moving the meetings to like the city hall chambers or something more accessible so members of the public want to come in, so we're not like all the way in the back room.
Board Secretary Bill Sandoval, thank you for that question, Commissioner. We did pose that to the board very early on. One was trying to see if we can meet at a different date, different time, but it just, it didn't really work out. Some could make it, some could not, so it really just worked out that the time that we're having it now at this location works best still.
Location, not necessarily the time. I mean, the time is fine. I'm talking about the locations. I know we had discussed that, but I don't know if we ever reached a conclusion on if we're going to be meeting here for the rest of the commission, or we're going to move to the city hall chamber or somebody else, somewhere in city hall that's more kind of accessible to the public.
Yeah, it was determined that we would stay here at 1600.
Commissioner Pedrosa, I think along that vein, I've noticed that Councilmember Penalosa actually creates Facebook events for the council meetings, so there's nothing to prevent us from putting out a Facebook event about this meeting with directions if we want to encourage the public to attend.
And also, Lisa Rudloff, we can also look back at the council chambers and see what the schedule is for the next coming year, if you all want to do that. So there'll be a new video wall and a new backdrop facade, so it'll be a little nicer.
So should we entertain the motion again?
Okay, meeting adjourned.
Okay.
See you guys on Sunday at your big
You need a ride or anything?
No, we're good. I'm
You
good.
okay? All
I'm
right.
good. Thank you, dear. Thank you so much.
On the way out, you can pick up the postcards, so that's going to be a lot of fun.
Thank you.
I think it's from 3 to 9, so I think there is going to be
Validation?
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna give away free comic
So,
sign up, try to win.
what do you do?
I'm Richard. Yes.
I was gonna give away
Oh, thank you. So this was the project commission, so each one of us is appointed by one of the councilors. There's no appointing them all. She's appointed by Mendoza. I'm appointed by. Something was missing.
We tried with the